Hello and welcome, all friends and devotees of yoga and Buddhism. Yoga and Buddhism, Buddhist knowledge, reflections and meditations. Today is June 19th, 2019, Wednesday, midweek. And I'd like to continue my readings of the wisdom of Venerable Master Singyu. For those who are not very familiar with Buddhism, Venerable Master Xingyun is the leading Chinese Buddhist today in the world. He founded the Foguangshan, which is the largest Chinese Buddhist organization in the world. Foguangshan is the founder and supreme spiritual teacher of Foguangshan. So Master Xingyun has a collection of superb, fantastic wisdom, which I've studied for years, and I'd like to reflect. I would like us to reflect on them, contemplate on them, and draw resources from them to enhance and improve our lives and the lives of others, which technically is Master Xingyun's goal of researching, composing, and publishing these great Buddhist writings. People do not want to be bound by anything. People do not want to be bound by anything and wish to live in freedom and be at ease. However, we do not gain freedom just by wishing for it. In our everyday life, we are often bound by the fetters of fame and fortune, burdened by troubles and worry, and constrained by the right and wrong, gains and losses between self and others. How can we gain peace and ease? Being bound is not necessarily the result of external circumstances or other people. It comes from within our own minds. For we bind ourselves. Therefore, the real question is, how can we liberate ourselves? How can we liberate ourselves? The following are some of the ways. The following are some of the ways to consider. So Master Xingyun is trying to help us achieve our goal of liberation, ultimate liberation, by giving us some suggestions, which I call the golden keys or golden treasures here, which I'm going to read to you momentarily, of how we can enhance our lives, improve ourselves, and thereby achieve liberation from the world. We want to be liberated from attachment, from desires, from suffering. Nobody wants to feel pain and keep feeling pain, aches and keep feeling aches, and a lot of suffering and pain and pain and suffering, right? We want to break away from pain, break away from suffering. This is the goal of Buddhism, okay? 1, let go of honor and disgrace. Honor is something everyone seeks. However, some people end up disgracing themselves in the pursuit of glory. Others may indulge in their momentary glory, and achieve nothing in the end. Therefore, when honor arrives, we should not be swayed by it. When honor arrives, we should not be swayed by it. Do not be overjoyed with honor or be depressed in disgrace. We have to let go of both honor and disgrace. For how else can we find peace? How else can we find peace? When we are able to let what is honorable be honored and disgraceful be disgraced, setting our own standards for good or bad, and not be influenced by external circumstances, we will then be able to become carefree. Second point, okay? Second golden treasures from the great master. Let go of fame and fortune. Let go of fame and fortune. It is human nature to seek fame and fortune. And there is nothing wrong with pursuing them in moderation. However, if the focus of our life is only on fame and fortune, we will find ourselves bound by them. we find ourselves bound by fame, bound by fortune. For instance, we might watch the stock market closely every day, with our every emotion hanging on the rise and fall of stock prices. Worse still, we may be busying ourselves all day long, latching onto others to carry favors, okay, with the hope of making big money and gaining celebrity status. The result, unfortunately, may not always be success in either, as we only end up being bound by the fetters of fame and fortune. Therefore, we need to let go of them both. We need to let go of them both in order to live a carefree life. Okay. The third point, let go of gain and loss. Life is full of gains and losses. Let go of gain and loss. Life is full of gains and losses. Yet in terms of the two, we often lose something in what we gain and gain something in what we lose. There are no absolute categories. However, some people take them too seriously and start calculating and bickering over them. They find it hard to accept even a small disadvantage, and at the same time are not necessarily happy at gaining something. In the end, they keep adding to their burden all the time and can carry an intangible but heavy load due to their concern over gain and loss. Consequently, in seeking spiritual liberation, we must let go of our attachment to gain and loss. You must let go of your attachment to gain and your attachment to loss. Break out of that attachment. And finally, the fourth point Master Singyun makes, the fourth, what I call the treasures. These are his treasures of wisdom. We need to take advantage of the treasures of wisdom and benefit from them and use them to set ourselves on the right path towards success in life. So let go of the desires. In our daily lives, we can hardly depart from the pursuit of the 5 desires of money, sex, fame, food, and sleep. In order to satisfy our desires, we work hard every day running this way and that. However, desires are like a bottomless pit, which cannot be filled. Therefore, people often become slaves to their desires without even realizing it. They weigh themselves down with numerous matters because of their cravings. It is only by letting go of our greed for self-gratification that we can unload the burden of our mind and thereby gain peace and comfort. Okay. Now we summarize. We're going to summarize everything. The Great Master is going to summarize everything of wisdom for us to see if we are smart enough to be able to pick out 1 or 2 points of wisdom and then try to apply it later to our lives and see if we can improve our lives and have more value in our lives. The whole point of this is value. How valuable are you as a human being? How much have you acquired? How much have you achieved? It's all about value. So our objective here is to try to increase our value by the acquisition of wisdom. What does a liberated person do? Such a person knows. A liberated person. Such a person knows when and how to let go. What does a carefree person do? Such an individual simply lets go. When we let go of the load weighing upon our heart, we can be liberated. Like a suitcase, we pick it up when we need it, and then when we no longer have use of it, we put it away. If we carry it with us all the time, it will become a burden. Reflect and meditate on these things, folks. They are so profound, so profound. Namo Amitofo.